the next step towards how things are designed.
No, definitely. I think, thank you, Abhishek, for giving a summary. I think you covered it well. We basically looked at basic concepts of AI, just understanding what AI is, what LLMs are, you know, what how LLMs are trained, how LLM work, so very high level basic stuff that we looked at. We looked at, all these different apps which are there, which do certain kind of generative AI, and those kind of stuff, right? So today, basically, it's less about slides. Today, it's more about, how, people are using apps. We will start with few demos. We'll look at, for example, I have few, let's come to the slide here. So basically, there's a Coach app that we developed. So I'm going to do a demo of that. There's a Magic app that we developed. I'm going to do a demo of that. Then we'll look at ChatGPT, and we'll go really deep into ChatGPT, because ChatGPT actually, what we are seeing is they every week or every couple of weeks that they're releasing something, and it's important for us to keep, tuned to them, because they are the best in AI world, right? I don't know how many of you know that ChatGPT raised like a $6 billion at 150+ billion valuation. That was a news.
Apple's fund. Is that
App,
correct?
Apple backed off now.
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's basically $6 billion at 150 billion valuation, right? That's amazing at the scale, and it's a private company, it's not a publicly listed company yet. So they already, if you look at, within 2 years there'll be $1 trillion company, right? And why is people are so, gung ho about investing in open AI? Why they are going and rushing and investing into open AI? Because OpenAI is the build is the platform on which is the infrastructure on which a lot of AI applications and a lot of AI tooling and a lot of AI uh, you know future generation of innovation will come, kind of stuff, right? So you can look at, in a way that this is like operating system, right? Of AI operating system, kind of Microsoft, or those kind of stuff, which is coming, and not only operating system, but the cloud part of it, right? So it is operating system plus the AWS, right? So Microsoft plus AWS, and they're also giving APIs, right? So you can also look at, that they're also giving API. So combination of a lot of things, on top of which the whole world is going to play the AI game, right? So it becomes very, very valuable from that perspective, right? Now, we will also look at Notebook LM, and we'll also look at OpenAI APIs, and we can, a simple collab notebook that we'll open and go into each and every OpenAI API. I don't know if you have time today to fully go through all the OpenAI APIs, but it's important for you to understand what are the OpenAI APIs which are available, and how they function, and what are the, what kind of functionality and performance and structure they have, so that you can at least, if you even if you're not building, you understand what OpenAI is capable of, right? So with that, basically, let me just quickly jump into ChatGPT, because I was just playing around with ChatGPT. I spent a lot of time on ChatGPT, lately. I actually, and this is interesting. I was just trying ChatGPT. They launched this GPT 4.0 with Canvas. We look at this, right? Uh, they just launched it. Actually, if you look at the launch date, it actually, I think on yesterday. Yesterday they launched this. And it's very interesting, this tool, which basically, I was just playing around at, I was thinking of writing a blog, right? A simple blog that life is a wave function, a combination of sine wave and cosine wave. And I said, can you just expand it and write a blog for me, right? So it basically beautifully wrote a very interesting blog, a very short blog, but but capture, it did capture the essence which I was trying to highlight. I could, I was thinking of writing this blog, I couldn't, right? But ChatGPT did it in like a minute. Now, interesting part about this is that it with Canvas, I can select anything and I can go here, uh, and I can ask, suggest some edits for this, title, maybe suggest more edits for it, right? And it will then one sec, the title to make it more direct and engaging, just as life as a wave function is better to capture. So it's this here basically it is suggesting me edits, right? This edit, that edit, kind of stuff, right? I can also say expand this, right? So I can say, why don't you expand this? I can say expand the, the length of it, right? So either I can say, make it, bigger, or make it smaller, right? So if I say, uh, make it larger, make expand this kind of stuff, right? It will expand it more. It's just this paragraph, right? It has expanded it more. It has added more, more data, more context and content to it, kind of stuff. I can even say that, write this. uh, well, I can also say what is the reading level. So I can say I want it for a kindergarten, right? So let's say, for a kid, how would this blog look like? Life is like a wave, ups and downs. So it has taken sine and cosine out of it. I go up and down, sometimes I feel happy, sometimes I feel sad. It's more, more simpler in tone. It is like that, right? I can say, but write it for a, uh, you know, someone who is more advanced, like a graduate school. Let's see what it does. It will probably make it more, you know, with a lot of jargon, I would say, philosophical perspectives. So it has basically, just expanded it. It has, embracing the oscillatory nature of life, involves acknowledging that beneath the apparent disorder lies intrinsic order, right? It's so, it is of course made it more complicated kind of stuff, right? So it's an interesting thing that, open that they have created this canvas, which where you can actually do a lot more uh, stuff in a more dynamic way. Even I tried, said, create an image for it, for this blog, and it tried to create an image. I would say image part was okay, it was not that great, but otherwise it did a very good job, right? Now this is GPT-4o with Canvas, right? So let me just create a new chat so that it gives me options to select a model, right? Can you see all the models here? Uh,
Yeah.
GPT-4o with Canvas, O1 Preview, O1 Mini, and there are more, a lot of other models which are there, kind of stuff, right? Uh, so GPT-4o is their base model, is their default model. So if you use any, if you don't select anything, that will select GPT-4o. GPT-4o with Canvas is more, they have created it a little bit more dynamic in nature, so you can do GPT-4o, but you can say, expand this, expand that. I just showed that one, right? O1 preview is very interesting. It is still in preview, but it uses advanced reasoning. It actually is for a very, very complicated, questions. A very, I would say, questions which are more, PhD level questions kind of stuff, right? So it is like that. And O1 is a mini version of this, but it is fast. So it doesn't take that much time, but it's fast. But again, it is with reasoning. Then there's a 4O mini, and then there's a GPT-4, which is a legacy model, which I think they will discontinue very quickly, kind of stuff, right? So that basically these are the different models, right? Let's look at, for example, O1 preview, right? Um, are you guys familiar with prompt engineering by any chance? I would want to spend some time on that. Have you heard of prompt engineering? How to write a good prompt? Any of
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
You have heard of prompt engineering, right? So,
Yes.
so have you heard of chain of thought prompt engineering? Uh, one shot, zero shot prompting, multi shot
Not in
prompting.
detail, but
Hmm.
sometime back I tried making something with LangChain.
Hmm.
So in that I read for a while and then I dropped in between. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at these prompting techniques, right? One is chain of thoughts, right? Let's say, I want. Do you guys have anything that you want to ask to ChatGPT? They more complicated, something related to your domain, maybe. Something which you can think of. Let's say uh, Abhishek, you were working in Shell, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to, like you said, you compare prices and in China and those kind of stuff. Uh,
Yes. I have tried some of the AI tools which are like proprietary tools on
mm, mm,
proprietary databases,
mm,
where you have lot of public and private information, private as in let's say brokerage reports, etc.
mm.
And we question the AI about certain
I'm I'm missing your.
topic.
I missed you, Abhishek.
Let's say about, and since Shell is in energy space, so we talk about. Can you hear me?
I'm not able
Can
to
you hear
hear
me?
you. I'm not able to hear you properly. Is everyone else
Hello.
able to hear Abhishek, or is it issue at my end?
No,
Hello.
no, it's breaking.
Breaking. Okay.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah,
Yeah.
Abhishek, now you are audible.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. Okay. So basically, we ask questions about database. Then these guys have also implemented versions of ChatGPT or other proprietary tools
Mm,
into their database,
mm.
right? So this will then scan all the documents, which will take, let's say, days, if not more, for a human to do. So, and quarterly results, etc., to pull out those pieces of information and share it with us. So it will also point
Actually, Abhishek, we are losing you. Abhishek, we lost you.
where
Unfortunately.
problem in the internet.
Yeah, not able to hear you, Abhishek. So we'll continue, Abhishek. Once you are, back, let us know. Uh,
Just
so so we'll take, so I'll just type it here, right? So prompting uh, techniques, right? What are the techniques which are there? One is, the chain of thought, right? Chain of thought primarily is a prompting technique where you are telling uh, the chat GPT to basically give the reasoning, give the steps. Why are you arriving at to that, right? For example, I could say, uh, you know, uh, let's say I had 10 apples and I ate 2 apples and bought 5 more from the market. It is simple sentence. How many apples I have? Please list down the steps. Right. So the good part is that ChatGPT has now a reasoning part. So it will give you steps, right? The starting quantity that you had initially had 10 apples. Apples eaten, that you ate 2 apples. So apples after eating is 10 apples by 2 apples, it ate 8 apples. Apples purchased, you bought 5 apples. So total apples now is 8 apples for 5 apples, 13 apples. Therefore, you have 13 apples. Right? It is telling you with reasoning, with with very, it's a very basic chain of thoughts kind of prompting, that you're telling them, list the steps, as if a human would explain to a tutor will explain to a kid, kind of stuff, right? Now, something related to, let's say, I do a zero shot. Zero shot is that I don't give an example, right? So sometimes when you're prompting, you should give an example, so make it better. A zero shot, for example, would be, can you, let's say, generate a JSON for this query? Let's say, show me saris under rupees 500. So it will basically generate some kind of JSON, right? Structured format, where it might, you know, uh, do key value kind of stuff. It is taking time. So one thing is, O1 preview takes time, and that basically is one thing that, a lot of people don't want to use O1 preview. Also, it's very costly, right? So I'm doing it as an example, but you should not use open preview for such simple kind of answers kind of stuff. So if you look at it, like, it created a JSON which says action is search, category sarees, and filter the price and those kind of stuff. But sometimes you want it to be in a particular format, right? So you will say, let's say, show me sarees and the final results. So you will basically make it a, let's say, a question answer kind of stuff, right? Let me just, okay, question, a query. Let's say it's a query. Answer. So I'm giving a sort of a zero. It's called a single shot prompting, which means that I'm giving LLM one answer, so that it can pick from that format and basically give the other answers in that same format. Because what I want is in a particular format, right? I want query. Let's say I'm just gonna make it simple right now. I want the original query to be printed in the JSON, right? Then I want, let's say, I want a price max to be, 500 here, and just I want a price minimum. Zero, right? I generate now a JSON for this query, right? I can also just say simple query, and I will of course then say shoes, not make a sari. Above, I'll say above rupees 500, right? So let's say and then I'll say, just I'll leave the answer the blank, and then say, give me the answer and stuff, right? So it basically would look at show me side and side, and then it will say, okay, this is how the answer was. So for this, which is a little bit different query, it's not, I'm not saying show me saris under rupees 500. I'm saying I've given a different query. So it is now showing me show me shoes. Query is show me shoes above rupees 500. Price minimum is 500 and price max is infinity, right? So that basically, it has very, very smartly, price minimum has been 500 and price max is now. So this is example of a one shot prompting. Now sometimes you have a lot of variations, and you may want to capture some part of that variation so you may do a multi-shot prompting where you actually make a multiple query answer, and then say what is the answer for this query kind of stuff. So 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 these are some of the prompting, techniques. Now, interestingly, with a single shot, right, I was able to get, without training or fine tuning my LLM, I was able to get an answer in my format, right? It is that's something is interesting. But what we saw when we were doing this is that even though we gave sometimes, although we gave a single shot or a multi-shot prompts, there were some hallucinations. The LLM was not able to answer my, give me a structured output which actually I wanted and stuff. The other interesting thing is it 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 actually detected brand also. So, let's say I say, I'm just gonna expand this. Let's say I say Nike shoes, right? And I then say here I add a brand as Nike, right? Now let's say then I say Puma shirt, or maybe we just take some Indian example. Let's say
Rare rabbit.
Rare Rabbit. Yeah, let's see Rare Rabbit.
For a production ready, for a production kind of a situation, obviously this is a small example.
Hmm.
So one first question is for a what kind of a use case, because you said this is costly, what kind of a use case where somebody would be using O1 kind of a model, which is not possible by a basic coding thing. And second is there a structured way which people have figured out to solve for hallucination so far?
Yeah. So question is, who so oven, well, people will use this for oven. Basically, people use oven for this kind of use case.
Yeah, because you said it's costly, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we don't have to. So basically, 4.0 or even GPT 4.0, 4 will also do the same.
okay, okay.
You don't
Hmm.
need to use oven for that. I just chose oven because I wanted to show a little bit more advanced version of GPT.
Hmm.
But when we were trying, we actually were trying with GPT 3.5.
Okay.
It did also gave a very good structure response. So that was not a challenge at all.
Hmm.
So your first question was that, right? The second question was that for hallucinations, right? Now, for hallucinations, what we did was we fine-tuned the model.
Hmm.
So I'll share with you, how we did that. I have that as as part of this. But fine tuning is one of the best ways for you to get rid of hallucinations. Uh, because you're telling the model. Other thing is that this is a very small uh, you know short prompt that we are giving. Right? GPT charges for both input token and output token, which means that the size of your prompt, how big is the prompt and how big is the answer, both they take into account when they bill you, right? And they're billing for every token that you input and output, right? So if you have to every time, if you have to put an example, and this is a short, small example, but if it's a big example, then every token counts. So this, if you look at, how many tokens are these? How many the token is usually one token is 3/4 of the word.
Okay.
That's a
Hmm.
0.75 word kind of stuff, right?
Hmm.
So this would be maybe 100 tokens. I can see that somewhere 100 tokens. Imagine this to be 1,000 token, right?
Hmm.
And GPT charges $15 per million token, right? So if I do 1,000 times, I'm already every query I'm doing, actually it's 1 rupee
Hmm.
approximately. So if $15 approximately, you can say uh, mota mota, 1,500 rupees, but let's say it's 1,000 rupees, and 1,000 token I'm putting. So I'm paying like 1 rupee for every query, right? It's
Yeah.
huge.
Hmm.
Like if you're doing a search, conversational search, and if you're spending like 1,000 1 rupee per search, that's huge for a e-commerce company kind of stuff, right? So you don't want that. Fine tuning is very good for that, because then what you're telling is that I've trained you for this, so I don't have to give you examples. I'll just say, show me, the first one. Can you generate a JSON query for this? That's the only thing I'll tell you. And you will not give me answer in this format. You'll give me answer in this format,
So when we
because
say
I've trained you for
fine,
that.
sorry, when we say fine tuning a model, so let's say there is a pre-existing model. Let's say
Hmm.
hypothetically GPT-4 we take,
Hmm.
and then let's say I am from hypothetically e-commerce industry. I have
Hmm.
let's say I work at Amazon and I have a
Hmm.
lot of products. So
Hmm.
so I will put that e-commerce product database with train that current LLM with that product database, and then if we query, or if we basically correspond with that LLM or query that LLM, I will get better response. That is what we are saying. That is what fine tuning means.
Not in the current, what I'm in the context. So basically, there's a what you're saying is more like a pre-training kind of stuff. So if you take some LLM which is bare, there's nothing, there's not trained at all, then you basically give some kind of unstructured data. So it can be like your whole catalog, you push it and stuff, right? And then you train the LLM on that data. uh, then basically you sort of are saying that I'm looking for, let's say, uh, uh, it actually that LLM is not a database,
Yeah, you
right?
explained
So
that. Yeah.
that so you don't train your database. So for you don't look at LLM as a database. Like if I say my product, let's say Maggie rupees
Mhm.
55, I'll put that in the LLM, and it will then, if I ask what is the price of Maggie, it might be that it might give you, but you have to let then lot of you have to do that multiple times, and you have to really do from multiple sources kind of stuff. So people don't use it primarily for that. There are ways you can use database in your prompting is through RAG. There's a concept called RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation.
Okay.
So which basically is a concept where when you are prompting something, right? Maybe I can show it. I actually have that. So show that since you asked that question. Gonna
Yeah, so basically, what I am confused about is what exactly fine tuning is. People talk about fine tuning. We are fine tuning a
yeah.
model. Let's say
Yes,
I was
yes,
looking
yes.
at some company, Servam.ai or something. So they are saying that fine tune the legal. They've created their model and then they're fine tuning with the industry data. What exactly fine tuning means?
Yeah, so basically, in the case of Sarvam, right?
Hmm.
Sarvam is what they're doing is they're pushing a lot of unstructured content of legal, right?
Okay.
So
Hmm.
let's say multiple case studies, like cases of high court, this case, what was the justice given for that kind of stuff, right? So you may want to say, this is my case. Let's say there was a violation of FSSAI, for example.
Hmm.
What are the potential, you know, this kind of stuff, potential, justice, or penalties for it kind of stuff, right? Then, if you have a fine-tuned model, right, it it gives you a better answer. because it is, see, hallucination happens because LLM is, so when LLM is predicting the next word, right? So when LLM is showing it here, it is showing the best prediction,
mm,
but LLM actually generates 10 or 20 or 30 outputs, but it only gives the best output kind of stuff, right?
mm.
Why the hallucination happens is sometimes the weightage, the best output, which should be, the first, is actually the 10th, and some other thing has come at the first, right? And that happens because there's noise in the
Data,
content,
in
data,
data,
content,
training
in data,
data.
right? If you
Mm,
just train your LLM on on legal textbooks, right?
mm,
The chances of it is, if of it hitting some Wikipedia article or some other thing, is out of the question, because you just trained the LLM on that, the legal jargon, right? So that's where it is being used now in that context, right? Now the LLMs work very best when it comes to language. So textbooks and scraping of data and all those, right? It works very best for that. Uh, we also were thinking that can we use LLM where we push all the e-commerce, catalog and everything kind of stuff, and then it gives, right, let's say, uh, we use that as a database kind of stuff, right?
mm.
Something what you're saying as a legal kind of stuff, right? It is not very effective from
Okay.
that perspective, right? So because it has so much of variety, right? Let's say my product, sari has price, let's say green sari has price 20, 500. There's another green sari with some border, 600 rupees. If I say show me price for green sari, the LLM is, we are asking something which LLM will just say something kind of stuff. It's just predicting kind of stuff, right? Because it's not very, it is not like it has knowledge. It is primarily information kind of stuff. It is, and
Mm,
that information is kind of stuff, right? So I don't know if I'm able to explain that properly, but we also thought of that. What you're thinking right now,
mm,
that we push all the catalog, everything, but then we realize that's not the best. That's not
mm,
how LLMs are designed for.
mm,
If
mm,
you have a lot of content, if you have a lot of content of, your own policies and all those things, the LLMs are good. But even then, a lot of people suggest that you use a RAG application. It
mm,
basically means that this is the general architecture of RAG, where, in the prompt, let's say I ask, what is the, I'm just saying, what is the leave policy of Plotch.ai, right? So,
mm.
so basically, you take that query, and you look at a vector database, or it might be a lot of, in vector you put a lot of PDF. You can chunk the PDF and put all the data, where the vector will give you the leave policy, some kind of content of leave policy of Plotch.ai, which you then put as a context, add it to a prompt, and then
Mm,
give it to LLM, and then LLM has a context.
mm.
The leave policy of Plotch.ai is, this kind of
So
stuff.
here LLM is only used to reply back. Uh,
Conversational part.
a
It's used for the con.
conversational part. Okay.
Yes.
So this
It's used.
vector database contains the real detail of the leave
Yes.
policy,
Yes.
which we have converted into vector database, that
Yes.
raw data.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
So a lot of people use, the LLM. It's because it's a large language model. It's primarily designed for language, for conversational part.
Mm,
It is not designed as a database.
mm.
Even so even the legal, I would say, a lot of people say it's fine tuned, but actually they're using it as a RAG and stuff. So
So this
so
is
I
RAG. Okay.
Yeah, this is RAG. This retrieval augmented generation, which means you augmenting your generation by retrieving something, and then
Can
putting
we
it in.
can we basically so this, I think this is very interesting. The only thing is just trying to figure out more use cases of this, if basically you can help brainstorm just for a while.
Sure.
This is HR use case, leave wala part, and then let's say if we talk about some business or industry use case, let's say e-commerce use case for RAG. Uh, do you have anything on top of mind? So if I'm just assuming that e-commerce database can be a vector database here, and then maybe
It will refund policies. For example, your refund policies are there, return policies
okay.
are there, right? So so someone comes to your chatbot and says, ask, what is your return policy, right? Giving it to LLM will not give whatever someone's return policy. Maybe Amazon.com's return policy, but your own small website, maybe kind of stuff, that data will not be there in LLM, not being trained on kind of stuff. So there, basically, if you augment it with your own refund policy document somewhere and say, here is the refund policy, here is someone is asking some question, just use this context somewhere the data is there, and then spit it out kind of stuff, right? So it may be some kind of FAQ that you have, which also can become part of your context, right? And those kinds. So now, whether the person is asking for refund policy and return policy is where your vector database can come, and you can then say return policy, the vector
And
closest to that. And
this can also be used for, let's say Flipkart to tomorrow decides to say that they have older age audience, and let's say 50 plus audience, and they generally ask their kids to order something. So what if Flipkart launched their WhatsApp bot where they say, okay, our database of products is a vector database here, and we use Llama for as LLM, and then old age people can just like they write there to their sons or daughter to order something for themselves. They just WhatsApp keep black sari for this occasion, and recommendation comes from Flipkart, and then they pretty much buy it over there. So that kind of a model can fit in into RAG, conversational search to buy kind of. Do you see or
yes, that's basically is now. So it is not RAG in the context of this, but you can do that. I mean, if you want to build a conversational part, yes, you can do that. So
okay?
this is basically is something that that I wanted to show that let's say in your app is a WhatsApp, right? And
Hmm.
query is red sari.
Right.
Then basically either so you can do a red sari vector search if and use a Redis if the cache hit is there, because latency is one thing that not every if you already someone has searched for red sari, why do you want to search again through LLM and everything, right? So you
Hmm.
just do a cache hit. But if there's a cache miss, let's say the first time somebody is asking for red sari, then that cache, then LLM goes and then create a structured response,
Hmm.
which can then go into embedding model, right? Let's say a red sari. So red is the sari, and red sari is a simple thing. It can actually directly go into the vector. But for very complicated cases, let's show me red sari with polka dot, with red border and all those things, right? Then under 500 rupees kind of stuff, right? So then becomes a very complicated query, which needs to be created into a structured response, which will then get into a vector database. Now this output again get into LLM. Now this is where the RAG comes into picture. This can again go into LLM, where the conversational part comes out.
Got it.
So I could put a LLM here, which pushes that these are the outputs, 10 products. Now
Hmm.
how do you put it in a conversational part? Conversational way is then the LLM will come into picture kind
Hmm.
of stuff.
Hmm. Got it.
Any other question from anyone? But others able to follow the discussion we just had.
In the first part, why do you need this embedding model? Why, like where you are doing this
First part,
vector?
this one.
Yeah, correct.
So you can directly,
Converting it to the vector search, is it?
yeah, the basically Redis. So Redis, are you aware of Redis?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Redis is primarily used for caching,
correct.
right? So if you give a query, if the response related to query is already cached, then Redis will say this is the output. Otherwise, it's a cache miss kind of stuff, right? Now
Mhm.
it is doing an exact match to the query, right? So red sari is red sari for for let's say red sari, and the product ID is a response. So red sari product ID kind of stuff, right? Let's say I ask the same query, but in a English way, lal sari, right? Now from a vector perspective, it is pretty close. It's probably
Okay.
98% close, right? And so it should generate a cache hit, right?
Oh yeah.
Lal sari and red sari both should generate the same product ID, right? So this is where the semantic caching comes into place, and this is what the Redis just introduced.
So
That
if you didn't, so if you didn't have the embedding model in between, it would not be a semantic caching. It would just be a normal, like
normal
a
caching,
key
yeah,
value
normal
kind of
caching, which means that lal sari will have a cache miss, and it will actually go to the LLM. Then your
True.
whole loop will come in, the latency will come in picture. The latency of this pipe is probably 100 millisecond, 200 millisecond. The whole thing will be a 2 second,
Understood. Yeah.
right? So that's why we have. Any other question from anyone? Yeah. So I think we were getting into that structure response. Well, let me just go back to the query that we are rare rabbit. Can it detect rare rabbit as a brand? Is that we were trying. So maybe I should have used GPT-4 because faster. It just takes time. So it did, right? That's the interesting part, right? The imagine if from this query, if I have to, you know, without LLM, if I have to detect a brand, it's almost impossible for me to look at Rare Rabbit as a brand because so new, not a few years back and stuff. Yeah, it has, I think, price min, price max, all those things. Anyways, we did not change kind of stuff. So this basically is what I was talking about. That this structured response is something then goes into the the embedding model here. We can we can recreate a query. So this query, because this may have under 500 rupees, all those things, which actually is not something that we want in the vector query. So we strip it out. We create a recreate a query, which is then we use embedding model. Then we put in a vector database to give a response, kind of stuff. So that's basically is what something that can do. Uh, how much time we have? I think we have another 10 minutes. Let me quickly go back to what I was trying to show was magic. Let me quickly show the magic product. Right. Again, it is interesting application that we developed where how do you create metadata of uh, of uh, of something which just using images kind of stuff, right? So let's say I have some product image. Uh, does any one of you have any image that you want to scan, a product image kind of stuff, a grocery image or something? You can share with me. I can do that. But let's say I take this is shirt that I take, right? This kind of shirt, and I say create a metadata for it, right? Which means that it should detect what is the category, what is the product, uh, color is, all those things kind of stuff. It takes about 10-15 seconds, so it's already created. So So it basically, see, I've given only the image. It has created a product name, men's navy blue denim. It has detected it's a denim shirt and it's a casual shirt kind of stuff, right? That it has detected that all that, and it has detected the category is shirt, the color is navy blue, right? The fabric is denim, the fit type is regular, neck is collared, hemline is straight. The Google product category is apparel, accessory, clothing, shirts, and tops. Pattern is solid. The pocket type is chest pocket, and then it has put all other things, which sleeve types, long sleeve, shape, and all those things, right? Just from the product image, it is able to generate so much of data, right? Uh, this is another generative part of you know this this LLMs. Which the interesting part is that I don't know if I have a grocery product here, but if you take any grocery product, I was able to get like what is the fat content, what is the sodium in this kind of stuff. I'm not sure I was able to
I
see.
have one question here, Manoj.
Yeah,
Like, how do you validate the correctness of it, like of like whatever it has generated? The say for example, you
yeah.
uploaded a picture, it showed you machine wash in the instructions, right? Now, like, how do you validate whether this is like whatever it has generated? It's like what are the metrics on which we can say if it's actually machine wash or not? Because if we are using it in production ready systems for some
Hmm.
applications, so just wanted to understand that.
No, no, we had the same question, and we realized that 90% of the time the data was right, and 10% time it was not, and therefore it shouldn't be seen as something which is a replacement of your catalog making uh, manual efforts. It should be a replacement of 90% of the work that you're doing.
It's like
10%
somebody It's
yeah,
like it's like somebody taking the grocery owner taking the photo of the product as soon as it's coming into its store, and
yeah,
then making a few edits if he feels it's wrong. So
yes.
So this is again
yeah.
human in the loop kind of a thing, right? Like it's
Yeah,
just
it's again human in the loop kind of stuff. Yes, yes. Some kind of human is there in the loop because some data that we have seen coming out of this, we realize that it is the LLM's knowledge somewhere that it's putting that way, right? It it somehow knows that this kind of product is machine washed, so this should be machine washed kind of stuff. But it may not be correct kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I have sent you one grocery product, Manoj. If you can just WhatsApp you, if you
Okay,
can
one
just
second.
try that. I just sent
1 second. I'm just gonna take that.
front photo and the back photo. This
Sure.
is very interesting. But is it also a RAG kind of a thing, or is it just the LLM capabilities, or is it something very complex which the middle layer is something which you have built?
No, actually it is not complex.
Yeah.
One thing I want to admit is that it is not that we have done anything rocket science here. But of course, it takes time. Yeah, down- s- s- yeah, download this. No, yeah. So short answer, it is not complicated, but takes some kind of wireframing. Different pieces kind of
Hmm.
stuff, and then putting building a pipe and those kinds of stuff. But mostly the work is done by so-
And is it Llama or OpenAI 4.4.0? What exactly is the backend for this?
it so we are using OpenAI right now.
And
We have
somebody,
used,
yeah,
yeah,
sorry, please continue.
we even tried using Gemini, but Gemini has a lot of hallucination.
Okay. So Llama is like open source. So somebody can you can store.
Llama doesn't give this kind of output.
Okay.
Llama will never give you this kind of output. Llama
Okay.
is good for a conversational. If you want to do generic conversational sentiment analysis and those kind of stuff, then we realize Llama is good.
Hmm.
But if you really want to do a production grade kind of stuff where you want it to be, you know, closer to 98, 97% kind of stuff, then OpenAI is the best. Let's I'm just gonna submit this. I've uploaded both of the images. Right. Let's see what it generates. So yeah, uh, that those are the some of the things that we also saw English being best in OpenAI.
Hmm.
So I have another application code which I wanted to show, but I think will not have time. But it basically English is is best. So let's look at this. Right, Del Monte honey mustard dressing. Honey
Trans
mustard.
fat free. Is it picked up from fat zero? I think. Yeah, it's on the front also. Nice, very nice. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where is it?
Trans
Yeah,
fat
this
free.
transfer.
Very
See,
nice.
we can't even read what it wrote. Read that. Uh, the batch number it calculated somewhere. Del Monte is the brand. Carbohydrates 27 gram. Kilocalorie 300 kilocal. Flavor is honey mustard. Emulsified sauce. Marketed by. Manufacturing date. UPC code also is there.
Is
Right?
it also
Just
picking the license number?
FSSAI license.
It's on the back. Or
Is
is it
there?
not the field? Yeah, it's written license number on the bottle's back, but not FSSAI.
Oh, okay.
Starts with 100. But is there a
One
field in your thing?
FSSAI is there.
Okay,
FSCI is there. We have that, but looks like FSCI is not there.
picked. Yeah,
So not picked.
fine. Hmm.
The good part is that if someone says I want a low calorie,
Hmm.
grocery, you can
Hmm.
actually now have energy kilocalorie as a data point.
Hmm.
Or someone says I want zero trans fat, so you have a zero gram trans fat. So you can
I think the kind of filters it can enable for any
yeah,
company, it's humongous, and that
exactly,
enhances the experience really to the next level.
precisely. So this
Expiry date, etc. Yeah, very
yeah,
well.
expired date. Batch number is also there.
Yeah,
Uh,
somebody can actually stock in, stock out basis the expiry, very well maintained, which cannot be possible humanly.
yeah. See, one other application that we were thinking of, how can we use this for inventory? How do we know? How do we use this for managing inventory of a grocery store kind of stuff?
Hmm. Hmm.
Right. So let's say someone scans their shelves, 2025 images, and they put, and some way we can identify, through that these products, that these are the products which are there in the grocery store. Uh, is another application that
But
because
Manoj, one question I had on this, you said that we click pictures of some of the products on the shelves. Now the same, let's say the same retail outlet might have multiple batches of products, same
mm,
product, but multiple batches that would have come over a period of time. So
mm,
then won't you need all the pictures of all the batches, and you should be aware that there are multiple batches if you have to just
mm,
go on the expiry of the product?
yes, that challenge is there. So basically, the idea what we're trying to do was how can we at least predict 80% of the inventory which is
Okay.
there of a grocery store, not 100%, because some of the products may be back, maybe hidden and those kind of stuff, right? But inventory, grocery, kirana store never does inventory on their
Yeah.
books,
Yeah.
right? So if someone is to sell grocery and inventory, at least have some basic inventory. So we can say 80% these inventory has been identified, 20% we don't know, which will for a customer, those 20% may be out of stock. They're there, but they're out of stock. So these are the confirmed inventory kind of stuff, right? So even when you're showing the products, you can share these have been verified that this product is there in the store and stuff, something like that. But we're still building that, so not sure. But that's one other application that we are
I
thinking
think
of.
the only thing, if I think we are over time, but one last one question. Is basically for a smaller grocery stores, yeah, I think 80%, 90% accuracy, helpful thing which they
Mm,
are not doing. But let's say Spencer or some bigger chain going ahead with Gen AI kind of a setup, with this kind of a setup,
mm,
and there for them the accuracy would be very much of a criticality,
mm,
I
mm,
think.
mm,
And I think if some, so in a human world, let's say somebody is putting scanning and putting the details, doing that stuff whole night, and then they're using it for the whole month, and then there is I am assuming there would be some QC process,
mm,
checking some 50% or maybe 5% of the inventory humanly with a checker maker kind of a concept. So if we have some checker maker with the Gen AI itself, so hypothetically saying if there is a process running which OpenAI for doing it, and
mm,
then there is some another process which has a super high probability by maybe some batch number search on the Del Monte website and
mm,
saying that these are the information of this particular product.
mm,
So our model is working at this percent accuracy. So that can actually give the confidence, or maybe another model crossed by another model. If somebody needs to have a super right experience product, uh, because I feel the only problem, so all these particular things at 80% etc is still manageable, but the accuracy, if somebody is trying to improve the experience,
mm,
and hypothetically if let's say expiry date is coming wrong by let's say 2023 की जगह 2024 4 आ गया, so
mm.
it becomes a challenge in a long run. How do you see that challenge, or with the accuracy, or is it not a big challenge you feel with your recent?
So basically, so I'll tell you what the problem statement that we actually are trying to solve is for a smaller format retailer
Hmm,
and
hmm,
stuff,
hmm,
right?
hmm,
For a big format retailer, usually they have systems like point of sale where they are keeping the inventory, they're scanning ins and out and maintaining the
hmm,
batches and all those things.
hmm.
But
Yeah,
how do you enable people through AI, retailers who are digitally challenged,
yeah. Hmm.
but make it so simple for them that they don't need to scan? See, if you ask a
Absolutely.
grocery store wala, take 25 foot pictures of your store,
Hmm.
it will be easy for them. If I just make it easy, just keep on clicking, and all the so just upload it. It's an easy process for them. A kid can also do it. They can ask a kid to do it, kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if they ask him to scan and put it in a system and all that and manage inventory, that's not possible for him, right?
No,
Uh,
absolutely. This is 100x better than the current normal
yes,
grocery guys. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. In fact, Google, I don't have that. I'll share the endpoint API where Google actually has just created an API just for this. How do you identify products? Yeah, I think it's here. How do you identify products on a shelf using? Where is it?
Vision. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a product recognizer API, helps you recognize and understand what products are in the provided image or on the shelf.
Hmm. Hmm. So they are using some LLM kind of a thing at a backend. This is
Yes, yes.
recent development, or is something which is an older AI kind of a stuff?
No, this basically that unfortunately I can't comment
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Hmm.
know. Just recently because we were looking at few things and
Okay.
so we
Hmm.
realized that this actually API exists and we have not used it, to be very frank.
Hmm. Okay.
We just
Hmm.
discovered it. We
Okay.
will use it and then maybe I can tell you more about how we used it.
Hmm.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that already the similar kind of use cases people are thinking about, that how do we use just an image for recognizing what's there in the shelf
Hmm.
or in the store. Yeah, I think with that, it's a wrap for today. I think we had a good discussion today. A lot of interesting, practical applications that we discussed. We'll continue this next week. I'll share few of the documents related to what we just talked, and a recording of this. Any other question from anyone before we wrap up? Okay. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Manoj.